Welcome traders, it is September 22nd and this is Friday's PATsScalper chart review. I had a great day today with 5 wins and 1 break-even trade, and hopefully you all had a winning day as well. Overall, today's price action was interesting. We started off with this smaller range into this larger bull trend, this really strong bear trend. We got our no extreme, and then again, price just shot right up and then right back down. So, from a high level, pretty uncertain, but again, as scalpers, we don't care about that. We want to get in, get our profit, get out, join with that momentum, and be happy with that. I use the 2000 tick chart, which allows me to view the raw price action, the raw orders that come in without having to look at volume at the same time. I can look at a bar like this, which has barely any wick, a basically full body bull bar, and know that buyers came in and aggressively, over 2,000 orders, pushed all the, that price all the way up here. Versus something like this, where over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bunch of 10,000 roughly orders here, price just didn't go anywhere. So there's a lot of indecision, and that's again why we use these tick charts, because we can see the raw price movement in really nothing else, and don't need any other indicators other than this pink line, which is the 21 EMA, and that really dictates if we want a long or short, given we want to buy low and sell high. And this EMA, this 21 EMA, acts as a price magnet. No matter how low price gets, it will eventually come back to the EMA, and just as well as no matter how high it gets, it will eventually come back to the EMA. And that's again why we use that to dictate if we're going to long or short. If we're at the EMA, we obviously want to join with the trend, but if we're way under it, we want to look to long, because again, it acts as a price magnet. And if we're way above it, we look to short. Again, just because it is a magnet, the further away you are, let's just say price is all the way up here, the more probable that short is going to work, because sellers are going to see that as an opportunity to move price back down here. Again, I scalp using 4 ticks, so the larger move I don't care about. I just care about joining with a big bar and obvious buyers or obvious sellers, and again, get in and get out. For my strategy, I look for 2 strong moves that both get rejected, and then I join opposite of those 2 large moves and get my scalp on that second rejection. For an example, let's just look at one of today's trades. So we've got this strong bear leg, and when I say strong, again, it's obvious sellers moving price from all the way up here all the way down here. And you can see, this is a bare, 1 tick, bottom wick versus this huge, what is this, 16 tick body bar. Like, that's a bunch of sellers came in and moved price all the way down. And then you can see price just stop. So buyers are obviously here, and we're under EMA, so I'm looking too long. Well, I'm not looking to pick bottoms or pick tops, so I want to wait. And that's the key, is at the end of the day, as a trader, you want to be patient, you want to wait for your perfect setups, and you don't want to just hope for the best. And that's what picking bottoms or tops is. And again, you don't want to get this first rejection. You want to wait for price to attempt a new low, or new extreme. And if it doesn't, those sellers that came in up here are going to kind of understand, hey, well, as much as I wanted price to move all the way down here, I'm starting to see buyers come in here, and maybe I'll start closing my position. And that, combined with buyers holding the line here, will get us those 4 ticks. And again, we are happy with that. We don't care if the move goes 5, 6, 7, 18 more ticks, as so a lot of times we'll go 4 ticks and we get our scalp, and that's it. But that's what we look for. And you can see I entered right here. We see this inverse bull hammer, good signal. After this strong relatively to these previous bull bars, strong bear leg here. This bull leg here, not much relative to this, and again, price just halted. But then we have this inverse bull hammer with this double bottom, price closed with this good looking low risk 6 tick bar, plenty of room to the top, way under EMA. I'm going to take that all day, and I got my 4 ticks. And again, did price go all the way up here? No, that's not what I'm looking for, but I got my 4 ticks, and that's what we're looking for. So again, we're looking for 1 move down that gets rejected, another attempted new extreme that doesn't happen, and then we look to kind of join that move back up. Why does that happen? Well, again, if you think of it as a seller all the way up here, and vice versa as a buyer, maybe like all the way down here, I want to move price as rather I want to make as much money as possible. And if I sell up here, I want to maybe, get out of my position down here rather than here. So if I see price get rejected with, okay, this isn't that many buyers coming in, maybe I'll hold or maybe I'll sell a little bit more and I'll maybe attempt to get price back down here. And then when it doesn't, not only do you again have these buyers here that are holding this price, but these sellers are starting to second guess themselves, thinking maybe I'm not going to get price all the way back down here. Maybe I'm going to start to close my position. And what do sellers have to do to close their position? Well, they have to buy to close. And those buyers down here now join with the sellers who are closing their position. And again, that's where we join those moves. And the key is, obviously you don't want to get in on every second rejection. You'll just blow up your account. But with good momentum and good strategy and good rules, and that's what I teach, you'll make profit. And that's again, why I like to show these green arrows of the trades that I took, and as well as the trades that I don't succeed on, which is red arrows, luckily not today, but also these yellow arrows on, I want to teach you guys on when not to trade. And I think that that's a big lesson that I don't see a lot of other traders teach, of when not to trade. They all teach these are the perfect setups, and that's great to learn, but a lot of setups look great, but context maybe isn't the best. And that's again, why I want to mark all these yellow trades and go through them to explain why I wouldn't take these, even though maybe it matches our second rejection. So again, that's the strategy. We'll walk through each trade in detail as we go through it. And again, for the arrows, a green arrow marks a trade that I took that was successful. A light blue arrow over here marks a trade that I broke even on. A red arrow is a trade that I was stopped out on, luckily not today. And a yellow arrow is again a trade that fits our overall strategy but necessarily did not meet our entry rules. Now let's dig right in. So again, I don't trade pre-market, so I really only do once 9:30 starts. Then I start looking. So really just chop when it started. No obvious direction. You have this range drawn, but there's no good bars up here. There's no good bars down here to kind of long. And again, you want to buy low and sell high. You don't want to do anything else other than that. And if you are looking at a position that doesn't meet buy low, sell high, like maybe you're thinking about buying up on the top of this range, even though the bars look good, don't do that. As hindsight, sometimes it'll work, but a lot of times, most of the time, when you take that up here, yeah, it'll work again 20%, 30% of the time, enough to keep you interested, but it'll, stop you out more often than not. So again, buy low, sell high. That's what should be on your mind 24/7. So again, we get this strong bear leg out of this range, and again, this is drawn already, and decent rejection here. We get this again, the strong bear leg, then decent bull rejection. Buyers came in below this range. Stop area was here, and we're looking for once these stops are hit. I want to see a bull bar rejection close, and then I want to see price come back down a little bit, and then on that second rejection down here, I'll join on that attempt back up. So unfortunately, there was news right here at 9:45. I would have taken this literally at any other time. Again, you've got this solid bear bar here, and then you've got this double top that price wasn't, it didn't start up here. I believe it opened here, moved down, and when I see that again, you think all the bears that then saw this tick down and joined here, they're going to use this as the stop area. And then when I see this come all the way back up after this strong bear rejection, and again, you can draw this, it's just a micro move. 1, 2, 3, and then again, we want to join on this up move. Double top here, again, you've got some, shorts with their stops sitting right up here, and as soon as it ticks through, bam, you get in, 4 ticks, easy peasy all the time. But unfortunately, again, news, I don't like trading that. It's just going to be so volatile. It would have worked, and I was so tempted, but again, I just stay out of stuff like that. So this follows all of our rules again. You got one bear leg, it's rejected. There's no new low. Good bull leg after this rejection here. You do have this tick through, which again, it kind of traps in all this double top here, and then ticks through. Good trade again, just bad timing overall. And then again, top of range, just no good bars. Yeah, stops are hit. You do get this bear bar close, but again, this just kind of just went right back down. When it stops are hit, I want to see that close of that bear bar, but again, one more attempt up, fail, and then back down. And yeah, again, this will go right back down, but we're not looking for every setup. We're looking for the perfect setup. And if you wait, if you're patient, you make money. And don't just jump into the market as much as you want to make money. That's why I always say don't do profit targets. Profit targets just make you trade. You want to take the best trades, and doing so will make you that money. You have to think it's like you got a profit target, you haven't met it. It's 30 minutes left to close. Oh, I got to trade. I got to make my extra $500, and you take that bad setup, and now you're down that extra $500, or maybe even worse. So again, you just want to be patient, wait for these perfect setups. Just nothing good up here. Shot right back down, and then I took this failed engulfing, and I call these out all the time in both in Discord and on these videos. I take them all the time, and assuming they're strong moves, and that's what you want to watch for. And what happens is, so this bar closed, then this bar, ignore how it is right now, ticks up, goes up right above this high, and then comes right back down. So now because it ticked up and this wick is up here higher than this bar, engulfs this bar all the way down to here. So now this is a bearish engulfing bar, and you have to think all the bears see this big leg. Hey, strong bear leg. This is now a doji, and maybe this is like I'm thinking that this is my support up here, or rather resistance, and I've got now this strong ticked up strong bear now engulfing bar here. I'm gonna take this short, and then I'll put my stop up here, and I don't, like I said, I don't take those. I wait for them to fail, and that's what I call as an engulfing failure. You wait for that engulfing bar to happen, and yeah, 9 times out of 10, that engulfing will maybe work and continue moving price. But I wait for that 1 out of 10 chance that nearly always gets me that 4 tick scalp, and price will get all those shorts in. You'll see price creep back up, and that's where when you see these setups, you kind of have to pay attention. You want price to move quickly, and as soon as it doesn't move quickly or starting to kind of start to like taper out or doji start to create, just get out. Either if you're in, break even, or, and that's what one of my break evens today was. It actually ended up working, but again, it's rather be safe than sorry. Or, if you're not in and you see dojis and prices just stalling, it's just, again, better to not take that trade than possibly lose money. Because, again, the whole point of these is the stops from this bearish engulfing. Once this ticks up and then ticks back down, these shorts that entered down here once, this ticks through, all their stops are sitting up here. So we're betting, and again, waiting for rather, when price comes back up and these stops are here, well, what do shorts have to do to close their position when their stops are hit? Well, they have to buy to close. And all those buyers who then push price all the way back up here, again, are going to join with those sellers who have to close their position and now have to buy, joining that momentum. And we look to long right at this wick. So literally, as soon as this ticks higher, my limit order drops right here. I get filled 9 times out of 10, and I get my 4 ticks high. So you can see it. I had to wait. I think 1 extra bar. Yeah, I got filled right here. Before it closed like this. But you can see it's these stops get hit, and then bam, price just moves up. I think actually went way higher, and again, it's up to you if you want to runners or not. We scalp, so a lot of times your runners will get hit, but sometimes you can get these bigger moves at the same time because, again, we play on momentum. But again, this is a great trade, and I trade this all the time. Not only is this a failed engulfing, but you're also, again, bottom of this range, below EMA. Again, room-wise, less so. You're only 1 tick away from the swing high, but because we're playing on stops being there and joining with momentum, that's almost a benefit for us. So I take these all the time. Solid trade. Yeah, failed engulfing. Again, top of range rejection, but then it just kept going high, 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 and another good leg, but then it just kept going lower. You do have this one leg, or rather, let's start even all the way from up here. Strong bear leg, and then again, price just stops. You do have this decent bull rejection, but you can see stops get hit. So whenever stops get hit, it's not always guaranteed that yes, this price stopped here and only by one tick, and maybe it goes up, but again, it's not guaranteed. So anytime I see like even just one tick through, you got to assume there's people with stops here that got stopped out, or maybe they didn't, and that's where we want to, as scalpers, make sure and confirm that there's still buyers in this area. So when this stop gets hit, I wait for, in this case, if I'm looking long, a bull bar to close. And yes, this is a second rejection, but this just hit its stop, and this is a bear bar close, and you wouldn't ever want to go long on a bear bar anyway. So yes, it follows our strategy. Yes, you have room. Yes, we're below EMA. Yeah, we're at trend line, which again is another thing I don't like taking. Maybe this could go up and fail, and I'd maybe even take that. But yeah, again, it worked, but we don't look at hindsight. So when stops are hit, again, you want to wait for confirmation, wait for a good bull bar to close, one more attempt lower that then doesn't get lower, and then we join that that move up. So fits our overall strategy, two rejections, but again, just doesn't fit the bill as far as a good bar and what happens when those stops are hit. So, price moves up. Yeah, one rejection, but then way higher, just brand new extreme. Another rejection, but then price just again keeps going higher and higher and higher. Um, Break out of this trend line. Good bear leg, but no opportunities down here, and just bad doji bars, T bars, just a lot of uncertainty. Again, we're looking for these good legs. Like this is an obvious bull move where buyers came in all the way down here, right at EMA, right at this trend line, and just moved price all the way up. No, opportunity for even an attempt lower. Versus this, where like it's just chop. So anytime you see stuff like this, again, as much as you want to make money, as much as you want to get in the market, just stay out. It'll save you in the long run. The key is to be patient. The key is to wait for even the one a day perfect setup. And if you take that perfect setup, you're gonna make money. Period. End of story. And even if it's just one trade a day, scale up your contract size, and you'll make more money. So again, don't force those trades. Don't overtrade. Be patient. Stuff like this, just stay out of. Again, up here, we do have now these stops from the swing high up here are just tick through. And again, you have to think from a shorts perspective. If my stops are supposedly up here, and I don't have conviction that price is going to continue going lower, well, maybe I'll just get out altogether, and then price goes way up here. Well, so that's where when it ticks through, we want to kind of confirm that sellers are still around in this case. And yes, we do have this bear close, but shoots right up again. So that's where every time you get a new extreme, even if it's just again one tick, you want to just wait that extra couple bars. And yeah, you'll miss a couple moves, but again, at the end of the day, you want to wait for the perfect move. So yes, this ticks through this stop, and yes, we get this bear top hammer here. But then price again through this bar shoots right through, and now again we reset. So we just kind of get this just range, and maybe a better bar. Honestly, I probably would have just skipped this anyway. You do have this nice double top, but by the time you take this, you don't really have room anyway to the swing low. And again, if we're just counting, we've got one attempt at a new high, then we've got one rejection, second attempt at a new high, and then this is the bearish engulfing. Let me just delete these because it's now a little cluttered. But you can see those legs now. And again, this is it ticked up, engulfs bearish. I was actually waiting for this to fail, and I would have gone long here. And again, that's where it's better to wait and not trade than force a trade and be wrong. So this didn't work out in my favor, and I was fine with that. But again, as far as this taking this bearish engulfing, this is a range, and yes, it's congestion, but it's still a mini range nonetheless. And again, as traders, in the back of your mind should always be, if I can click this thing, buy low, whatever this thing's, it's not working. Buy low, sell high. Yeah, there we go. And if you're selling here, again, you don't have any room for this, swing low here, but you're not you want to buy down here if anything. Again, this is just congestion, so you don't really ever want to take anything here. Again, maybe if I was like a one tick low risk bar up here, yeah, maybe I'd take that because it is the double top. But again, if you're taking this bearish engulfing bar, you're again selling at the bottom of this congestion range, and not only do you not have room, just don't do stuff like this. And again, hindsight, yeah, it worked. But again, I would just want to call trades out like this. As much as in hindsight, this looks like a great trade because it was a strong move. It's just you don't want to do stuff like that. It's always better to just wait for the obvious stuff and just avoid just congestion stuff and whatnot like this. So, strong bear move down, somewhat of a rejection. You do get this congestion, but then you just get your new extreme. And then same thing, bulls just continue to take this higher. I did take this failed engulfing, and again, to explain failed engulfing, this bar closes, and then ignoring how this bar forms, this bar ticks down first, and then goes up to get all these, this triple top here up, and then all the longs are now thinking, hey, all these stops are going to get hit. This is a good after this strong bear trend up here. you know, I'm going to take this long, maybe get, continue the move up here. And again, this is a bullish engulfing bar, and I'll draw the lines again. So this doji, and when engulfing failures happen, I don't care what the bar before it looks like. I just care that engulfed correctly. And this bar, this doji closed, this bar, as it's forming, comes down. I'll draw the arrow again. Oops, wrong one. Comes down, ticks below this, down to this wick, then comes all the way back up to now be again that bullish engulfing, and gets all the longs in on this one tick up, and then it starts to creep right back down. So again, went right back up, and then it starts to come right back down, and I'm sitting right where this wick was. I think it was maybe like halfway in between this. I forget exactly where it was. Wherever that wick was that started that engulfing, and then I'm entering. I think I entered right after this. I got my four ticks. And you enter right as soon as that engulfing happens, and then again you play for that failure. So I got my four ticks. A lot of times it is a little bit more volatile. I was kind of lucky with this one. Even if again, because your stop's gonna be up here. Once you see this close, if you were still in this and you didn't get filled, this is like again with failed engulfing, you want to do make sure there's strong momentum. Again, you're playing on all the stops that were just placed on here from the longs that just entered up here. So if those stops are technically hit, but then price doesn't move, well then those longs are probably still around. So that's where again, when these happen, I got my four ticks nearly immediately. But if you didn't get filled, and then you see this bull bar close, that's where maybe you want to start thinking about break even or as close to and start closing your position. But again, failed engulfing, I'll take these all day, no matter the context, no matter the bar, as long as I see strong movement. Once that engulfing failure, or rather, once the engulfing bar happens, I want to see strong movement to move that price back to where that wick was, and I enter when those stops are hit. Um, I'll make a future learning video on that specifically, but again, I love these engulfing failures, and again, I take them anytime I see them. So strong bear trend just brings price all the way down. I took this again as a engulfing failure, and not only do you have this as an engulfing failure, but think about how many shorts are just using this as their stop area. From this attempt to this attempt, all these shorts are placing it at this swing high here, and once I see this tick up to this, and this is again a great setup for the bears, but it didn't work. And I love when those good setups, those perfect setups, don't work, because that means they were wrong and they entered wrong, and I'm going to profit on that. And that's exactly what an engulfing failure is again this I guess inverse hammer closed, so we've got this kind of top area up here, and then even this double top up here, then this bar, let's again ignore how this is formed right now. This bar ticked up to this purple line. So this became basically, ignore this bar, a double top with this swing high over here, engulfed down, and let me draw the arrows again. So it ticked up right to this purple bar, so one tick above this, and if it ticked right to this and then went down, that's not an engulfing, that's just a double top. So you always want to make sure when you take these engulfing failures that it ticks up first, in this case, and whatever direction it ticks up first, or rather ticks down if it was opposite, that's the direction you want to enter in. So in this case, ticks up, and I'm looking long then if this were to fail, then it goes down to again be that bearish engulfing, and all these bears are thinking, hey, this wick, again ignore this bar as it is now, is right at this purple line. This is a double top. This is an engulfing bear bar. This is a great trade. I'm smart, and it gets some movement down, but then it comes right back up, and I'm sitting here right at this purple line waiting for it to tick through, and as soon as it does, then my limit order drops and I get filled, and great trade. You can see just price just doesn't rock all the way up here, but again it goes all the way up here, and I got my 4 ticks. So these engulfing failures are amazing trades. Again, I call them out in my Discord all the time. I, as a scalper, love these setups, and the key again is to be patient and wait for. And if you're like nervous about engulfing failures, the point is you play on the trap, where people place their stops. You're playing on them having to get out of that position and joining with the movement, and then getting your 4 ticks. And the higher probability setups are the ones that have more stops in that area. So with this swing high up here, you can see how volatile this once it ticked through all these stops, those shorts got out, and price just rocketed up, because again shorts have to buy to close, and that's what we're looking for. So again, anytime you see like a failed engulfing, you want to make sure that there's solid movement up, with preferably a good area where stops are, that you're hoping get ticked through and then move price in your favor. So again, you do have this move up, you do have this second rejection, but again, you have this stops from all these shorts up here gets ticked through, and when that gets ticked through, they're obviously they're not as aggressive holding price down. These buyers are winning out in the price war. They were obviously aggressive to move price all the way up here, and yeah, sellers brought it down. But these stops were here. We don't know if price is going to continue up here, because those shorts could totally just be like, yeah, I don't have any more conviction to move price down. This is a good bull trend. I'm going to get out. And maybe now you enter down here. Not only do you not have space, but maybe it gets one tick and shoots up, and now you're stopped out. So anytime you see these stops get ticked through, again, you want to make sure a bear bar, in this case if I'm looking short, gets closed, and even by the time this closes, you're kind of way too low. You're right at EMA. You've got this large wick here. Just don't take stuff like this. I didn't even not even worth marking. But again, you do have these second rejections. That's what I would call out. You don't want to take every second rejection. You want to wait for the good bars, the good opportunities, the obvious setups, and just buy low, sell high. Price goes right back up. This was an engulfing failure that I didn't take, just because I didn't like this double bottom wick here and right into trend line. The You have to think, everyone draws these trend lines, and as much as like this worked, you do get your 4 ticks down here, and again, engulfing failure, it ticked down, went up to be an engulfing bullish bar to get all the longs in, and then it shoots right back down, and then you would enter here short. But again, you have to think, everyone draws this trend line, and there's certainly longs hoping that this trend line holds. Whether or not it does, I don't want to play on a maybe, and I want to know there's space. I want to know there's plenty of room for me to get in and out. I don't want to add that extra risk, and I just don't short into the bottom of trend line, or maybe whatever setup would be up here long into a trend line. you want to again make sure there's space. The only exception again is failed engulfing. I do have room here, but like failed engulfing, you're playing on the volatility, you're playing on the stops getting hit. But for just a second rejection, again, you don't want to really go into trend line. So just main reason I didn't take it. You do have the second rejection up here. If this was a smaller bar, I would have taken this for sure, because again, you have this strong bull leg. Price just stops, starting to go down. Good bull, second attempt by the bulls to push price higher. Double top, price again just stops. But unfortunately, by the time this bar closed, you don't have enough room for this double bottom, I guess triple bottom here. Yeah, it worked, but again, hindsight's great. I'd rather wait for the perfect setups. If this was like a small bar, even like literally 2 ticks higher, I wouldn't take it 1 tick higher because again, if you want to make sure there's 5 ticks at least for it to tick 3 or 4 ticks. But smaller bar, great setup, but unfortunately the bar was too big, just not enough space. You got it, but just wait for the right setups. Price just continues to move down and down and down. Um, I wanted to call this one out because, again, you don't want to bottom pick. And this is why I call out you want to wait for stops, or rather, once the stops are hit, to confirm, in this case, that the bulls are still around. Because, again, you do have this strong bear leg. And, yes, price just stops. So, all the way up here, sellers are pushing the price all the way down. Good, decent bull rejection. And then second attempt lower. But then look, it ticks through this. And again, as I say, even if it's 1 tick, that's still ticking through possible stops that are down here. And once that happens, you want to wait for, yes, this bull bar to close, but then one more attempt to not make it lower, and then you enter long. Because, and that's why I want to point this out, if you just were to take this on this tick up, you wouldn't have made it. You wouldn't have gotten your 4 ticks, and you would have been stopped right out, and price would have just kept going. So that's where again it pays to be patient. As great as this setup looks, stops were hit. Follow there's obviously sellers that are aggressive enough to go through this, and buyers gave up a little bit. And as a scalper, again, you want to make sure you're joining with strong momentum, strong buyers, strong sellers aggressively entering the market. And when stops are hit, that disproves that. So again, you want to be patient, wait for that next setup, and it just didn't come here. And then price just kind of kept shooting down. I took this again as a failed engulfing. So what happened? This doji closed, then it ticked down, went bullish engulfing up, and then I took it short and got my 4 ticks. This is exactly what I'm talking about, where you want to wait and be patient. Where if you were not patient up here and you just took this long, you would have been stopped out. This is the setup you want to wait for, where you have, yes, your strong bear leg, price gets rejected. You've got your attempt here. Again, I took this as the failed bullish engulfing bar short, and then this leg ticks through again where these long stops are, and I'll zoom in a little bit more, maybe make it a little larger. Ticks through again where these stops were here, and again, following our rules, yes, price does stop. We've got this double bottom here, and let's just paint it that way. And now that stops are hit, we again wait for that bull bar to close. Price could, when you see this close, price could continue all the way down. We have no idea. But then when we see this inverse bull hammer, this double bottom, price just stops. This is a good indicator. Again, now that this is bullish, there's still buyers around here, because if they weren't and they were stopped out here, they probably wouldn't be entering here. They probably wouldn't be holding price here, and price would go down a little bit more. But you see this, where then this is the double bottom here, shoots up, and then I'm going to take that all day. Plenty of room, way under EMA, trend line isn't anywhere near it. Again, you've got your swing high up here, and you can see this is just, you've got your confirmation. This closes bullish, which was what we're waiting for. Again, because this could have continued. So once this stop is hit, we're looking for, in this case, if we're looking for long, we're looking for a bull bar to close. So we get our bull bar to close. And then we're looking for that second attempt below. And what happened with this bar is it came up here, attempted this new low, didn't get it. Buyers came all the way back in to this double top. And when I saw that with this, relatively low risk 6 tick bar, yeah, of course I'm going to take that. We've got this double bottom here, and I got my 4 ticks, and I'll take that all day. So low risk stuff like that, and again, that's where you want to be patient. And once the stop area is hit, you want to make sure that you have that bullish candle to confirm that there's still buyers around in this case, and then you want to have that next, another attempt, so to speak, at that low. And when I saw that double bottom, yeah, I'm going to take that. Those sellers try to push it. That double bottom happened because the buyers held that line, and then the buyers pushed that bar all the way up back to where that hammer top was. Yeah, I'm gonna take that. Again, we're scalpers. 4 ticks in that case. I'm confident bulls are around. We got it. Great trade. Um, Price just kept pushing higher, and then you just get this chop, 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 chop. Nothing to trade here. Again, when you see stuff like this, you want to see these obvious moves. Like, I know this is a strong bear leg down. I know this is a bull leg. I know that's a bear leg. I know that's a bull leg. This, it's like just on top of each other, stacked bars, just status stuff like this. Once it breaks out, that's where you want to start looking. Okay, now I'm in my bear leg. Now, okay, I'm in consolidation. Maybe it's a little bit undecided. Okay, now we got our new extreme. Now, bears won and they pushed price lower, and the ones that entered up here are really happy. And now we're, again, as scalpers, we're just waiting for these bears, wherever they entered, to exhaust and kind of give up and start to close their positions. At the same time, the bulls are starting to feel real good and holding price and moving price higher. So, price moves higher. We get a good rejection here. Um, I didn't like this because of this T-bar. So this was an engulfing failure. So it ticked up, shot all the way down, and you've got this good-looking bearish, engulfing bar that got all these shorts in as it ticked below this bar here. And mine, I'm sitting long with my limit up here for price to shoot back up. Yes, it did. You can see this strong bull bar, but once this closes, this is 2,000 orders that just had conflicting ideas on where price would go. When I take an engulfing failure, I want price in that next bar to just kind of just shoot up in my direction. And if I don't see that, that's where I'm just better off not taking it. And again, you want to wait for that momentum. In this case, if I'm looking long, for buyers to really hold and trap those sellers that just went after this tick through and after this bearish engulfing, to then get that liquidity, be aggressive in this case, have those buyers come in, move price all the way back up quickly because they're trapping these shorts, hit these stops and have price go in in my direction long. In this case, I see this T-bar. There's just, again, 2,000 orders that came in and just price held here. So yes, there's this next strong bar, but my order was already way, it was closed. It's not sitting here anymore. So yeah, it ticks through, and you can see how volatile they are. You have all the stops still sitting here, and it ticks through. You get your 4 ticks, and again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So you can see how volatile they are, and when they work, they work. And that's, again, we're only scalping 4 ticks. We're not looking for anything more. You do enough of these throughout the day, and you're making good money. So, but again, you want to wait for these perfect setups. I just didn't like this, given this T bar. If this bar here replaced this bar, and this T bar just was not here, oh, 100%, I would take this all day. You can see just buyers just came right in, but because, again, this T bar was here, just wasn't comfortable taking this. Same thing here. I was hoping this actually was going to be a failure long. I like playing these trend traps, and that's, again, partly why I don't short trend tops or long trend bottoms. I wait for the traps to happen. Again, we're scalpers. We want to have like the momentum of the people trapping as well as the people getting out of the trap to join us. So we do have this. Let me draw it again. Good bull leg, strong rejection, bear leg here, and then one more attempt higher. That then again price just stops. You do, again. Oops. Move that. Excuse me. You do have this one tick up, and then it shoots down, and again, yes, it's the second rejection, but it's at the trend line. You do have the space. EMA's I care less so about. Again, I use that to dictate short or long, less so if there's gonna be resistance or not, because if there's a strong move, it's most likely going to go through at least a little couple ticks through EMA and get your scalp. So good rejection here, but again, at this trend line, I was hoping for this one tick up, then engulf down, get the shorts in at this fake. Hey, I'm at the trend line. Oh, this is a solid bearish engulfing bar. I'm gonna be smart and take this second rejection. Well, I was sitting up here with my long, so again, that's part of just you wait for what you think's going to happen, and if it doesn't, who cares? You wait for the next setup. So if you were hoping for a good rejection like this, you do have this top up here, so it's not like stops were hit. This is a good trade if you were thinking of that second rejection, if you wanted to play that trend line. But I don't play trend lines. Again, I wait for the traps, and I'm fine missing out on stuff like this. So this is, again, a good one leg up, one leg up again for new extreme, but doesn't happen, and then you get that second rejection, and it is a good, solid bearish engulfing bar, but I just don't take stuff like that. So, you do have your space, good trade overall, but my personal preference, I don't like trading these trend lines. This, I was torn about. Hindsight, great. Yeah, it would have been nice to take, but at the same time, this is a doji bar. You do have this range starting. If you wanted to draw it that early. I don't think I had it drawn by yet. You do have these stops up here hit, and again, following our strategy, once this stop line gets hit, we're looking for a bear bar to close, which we have here, but this is doji, and yeah, it's low risk, and yeah, we've got plenty of room, but this just ticks right down. If this was maybe double top, and if this was a different bar than a doji, would have taken it. Didn't happen. That's why I didn't take it. But I didn't like this doji, and I didn't like how it didn't have a double top, or maybe engulfing and then down. Even if it was engulfing down, I probably would have waited for the failure up. Um, but yeah, I didn't like this doji. It ticked. It was an inside bar. By the time it ticked down, I don't take stuff like that. Period in a story. Don't take inside bars. You'll get trapped out and stuck more than on you win. And that's where playing the engulfing or the double tops or the double bottoms is where you want to stick out, or you rather play with a scalper. And I missed my break even. So this was a failed engulfing short. It actually would have worked if I stayed in, but this ticked down, then engulfed bullish, and then again I'm sitting short down here for that to fail, and so it closed this doji. Then this bar comes in, and it hits 3 ticks, and then it comes back here. And when I see that, a lot of times price will hit 4 ticks or 3 ticks and then just immediately reverse, and that's because a lot of the pros or high frequency traders will scalp on those 2 ticks, but those 4 ticks won't get hit and then it gets reversed. And a lot of times again you'll see those 4 ticks, maybe you don't get filled and then it reverses and you're like, oh, why? It's because the pros, so to speak, got their money and then they don't care if the price is moving up. So when I saw this wick in this 3 tick no fill, in this closed, I just got out break even. By the time price got down here, yeah, it would have worked. But again, it's better safe than sorry. So I got to break out even +1. Not a bad trade. Again, it would have worked, but I just didn't like this wick once this bar closed because I was in. Once this doji closed, my limit was sitting here. This then ticked through, filled me, hit three ticks, and then just kind of sat here. And that's where again, you're playing that there's longs that entered on this bullish engulfing, trapped out here, and then they get stopped and they have to sell the close. But when they sell the close with the momentum, price should move rapidly to the 4 ticks. And again, got 3 ticks, closed with this large wick. I didn't really like it. And again, it's fine to go break even. It's better than a loss. So I got out break even +1. Again, yeah, it would have worked. Hindsight's great, but I'm happy. So um, again, I don't like doing trend line trades. Yes, you have this strong. Let me draw the arrow. Bull leg here. You do have this bear leg, and this was, I believe, the failed engulfing. 1 tick up, down, and then this closed. And again, trend line, yeah, it's acting as, or rather acted as support. But because this price didn't move right back up, and again, how failed engulfing works is this doji closed, then as this bar, ignore how it is right now, ticked up and then shot all the way down to get all these bears in using maybe this as a stop. And again, I say maybe because price could continue all the way down. Um, and then it closes like this. And when I see this, I'm expecting price to then shoot all the way back up to where I'm sitting up at this wick again, where all the rather shorts place their stops, and I'm hoping that they have price move up, ticks them through, gets them stopped out, and then I go long with them getting out. Um, and when I saw this bar, yes, this is a double bottom. Again, with this top wick, price is obviously there. Again, it's 2,000 orders that came through and held price not necessarily near this. And yeah, price again ticked all the way through, and you would have gotten your fill. But again, I'd rather be confident. Again, if this bar replaced this bar, great trade. But because you got this space here in this wick, um, I wasn't a huge fan of this, so I just didn't take this. I had my limit order, or rather stop limit order, sitting here, and by the time I saw this bar, I just took it away. Would have been a nice trade, but again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Just didn't take it. You do have these again, chop chop chop. So price is shooting higher. Nothing really here. Again, ignore all these doji bars. Just don't take stuff like this. You can maybe start counting this as a single bull leg. But when it's stuff like this, I like to start counting these solid legs. And good bear attempt here to get a new extreme. Bottom of the range, price just stops. Bull attempt to bring it higher, doesn't work. Then the second bear attempt to bring it higher. But if this was a smaller bar, easy trade, would have taken it. Obvious second failure. Again, the shorts who are shorting up here want price to move all the way down here. And again, our strategy is they're going to make one attempt to get that new extreme. They're not going to get it. They're going to make a second attempt to make that new extreme. And when they don't get it, because again, we've got buyers sitting down here, they're going to start to reconsider their position and possibly close that and join with the buyers because again, shorts have to buy to close, and then we go long in that case, and we join with that momentum. But unfortunately, with this one, this bar, by the time it engulfs, you're top of range. Yeah, you have space up to these swing highs up here, but this is again range, and you want to buy low, sell high. I didn't take this. Again, hindsight, great, worked, but I don't want to play in hindsight. I want to play in probability, and you want to make sure you got space. You want to buy low, sell high. If this again was like maybe closed down here, oh, absolutely, I would take that. Easy two rejections, both double bottoms. You know, preferably not mid range, maybe down here. And again, you wait for the good setups, and if it doesn't happen, who cares? But just I didn't like this because it's top of range, and yeah, you got space, yeah, it engulfs, yeah, you're in the strong bull trend, right at EMA, but who knows if that's then a trap, gets you in one tick, shoots all the way back down, where now all this liquidity is sitting for all these long stops, one, two, three, bottoms, and then it shoots right through to get all that. And maybe that's what I would be waiting for if I saw that. I would sit out on this, which I did. That's why I'm calling it out. And if this ticked all the way back down, then maybe that'd be a good trap trade because again, you got all these sitting here, and that's a lot of stops that are gonna have to close if it ticks through. Um, so, follows our principle again. Two solid rejections, one rejection, two rejection. But just by the time this engulfs bullish, you're just top of range. You don't want to take stuff like that. Price just kept, keep pushing down. Just nothing to trade there. And again, I wanted to call out where like, yeah, you have a somewhat second rejection, and that's where I like to wait for these visual legs. You've got an obvious visual bear leg here. You've got a decently obvious bull rejection here, and if you start playing these micro moves, you're just going to stop yourself out. Um, yeah, price went down and came back up, but I like counting that as just the same bull move. Bulls held that, yeah, price went down. And because if you start thinking about that and stop, looking at these micro moves and start looking at these actual legs, because this is aggressive sellers this whole way through. Like, I know sellers are going to, they defended this area and push price all the way back down. That's, again, as scalpers, we want to join with all these folks that are joining. We don't want to join with a bunch of indecision or the bunch of maybes. And in this case, yeah, we've got some buyers here, but is it really confirmed? It didn't really test the lows back here. And again, I kind of count this as one bull leg. And if you took this on this tick up, you would must stop right out. So again, you don't want to bottom pick. You want to wait for a second attempt at the new low. Even if you don't get it and it goes all the way up, who cares? You wait for the next one. And then maybe when it goes above EMA, you start thinking short. And that's why we use EMA to dictate our direction. It gives us more opportunities. As long as you wait for the right opportunities, you'll make money. Um, Again, you just get these bottom picks that you just don't want to take. You get one leg here, and then you get your second rejection, or rather your first rejection, and then again, if you start counting these micro moves, and then you get this tick up, oh, I'm gonna it's I've got my support maybe over here. I can see all these longs that got stopped out. This will be the attempt to go long. Oh, I know that. And nope, it isn't. Stops right out. And again, you also want to think from a space perspective. If you go tick up here, you're going long at the top here, especially here. You've got one tick of space. That's why we want to make sure there's 5, 6, 7, preferably more ticks of space for us to get in and out without these tops are acting as resistance, and we don't want to go long into that. So just don't take stuff like this. Don't bottom pick. Wait for the good setups, and you can see it just pushes straight back down. Um, and really no good setups the rest of the day. It just kind of just chops. And again, you want to wait for these obvious moves, and just really nothing. Just chop 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 chop. So that was it for today. Again, 5 wins, one break even trade, solid day. Please like, subscribe, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all Monday.